Welcome to Home and Away, a Tottenham Hotspur podcast, hosted by myself, Graham Spice, and Glenn Cowie, where we discuss all things Tottenham Hotspur from both the match attending and I'll start again. What a fucking mess that was. Welcome to Home and Away, a Tottenham Hotspur podcast, hosted by myself, Graham Spice, and Glenn Cowie, where we talk about all things Tottenham Hotspur from both the match attending and international supporters' view. Tonight, we'll briefly cover the mess that was yesterday's Newcastle loss at home, and then we'll talk about the big news of the day, which everyone is talking about, the sacking of Thomas Frank. So, a lot to get through. Let's dive into it.
Let me be the one that you turn to, someone you can rely on, closer each day.
Glenn, are you good?
I'm good, mate. I'm good. As our viewers and listeners can't really see me, but viewers will be able to. I'm very much ready to die out the door in about 25 minutes. So this is
bit of a last-minute thrown together one.
A last-minute emergency pod. Thank you, Stephen Price from Colorado, joining us, mate. Thanks for coming on the emergency needed pod. How are you, mate?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm happy. I'm happier than I was yesterday. Put it that way.
Yeah, me and you both.
Let's wait until use the next manager first.
Well,
as
you said in your intro, Graham, or maybe it was off air, the game really was the straw that broke the camel's back. It could not go on. I made a comment to you in one of the many chats we were in, or maybe the WhatsApp community we're in. Had he been in charge for Arsenal, he would have been lynched.
I honestly think that the supporters would, those that bother to turn up, because it's getting to the stage now where, over 10,000 empty seats for a home game.
Premier League game.
Even for a North London derby, I think there would have been empty seats, which is criminal, right?
92.
Yeah, that's right, for that game last night.
For
South Stand,
crap that is being served up for fans.
It's garbage, yeah. So
the game itself, to touch on it, another long-term injury in Odegaard. Fuck me. I mean, so we were joking off air. It's like dog years, isn't it? When a Tottenham player gets injured, 6 months becomes
it's like times 7 or whatever it is.
And then I'd forgotten this, but Stephen, you reminded me. Doggy went off as well, didn't he?
Yep. Sounds like it's his hamstring again.
Has he got hamstrings? Got any?
I think we buy our hamstrings on eBay.
Yeah, they're like Timu hamstrings, like come in a pack of 4.
Yeah, and I don't know. Like, sympathy lies with the players, right? If you're a player, you want to play no matter what. So I think when given an opportunity, they're going to say yes rather than no. Again, highlights that there's a serious issue with our medical people, how people are being reviewed, how they're being.
But also, do you not think there is an unwillingness to play the younger players when we do have people at risk like that as well? Because I know he's played Byfield a couple of times, but we must have a half-decent under-21 left-back who could deputise for one game or something.
Well, Selza did great when he came on for 30 minutes. I mean, I'm all for listen, we're a shit show as it is, right?
It couldn't get any worse.
It could have got. Newcastle game proved that with the outcome of the result. Souza came on, and I actually took some time to specifically watch him during that game, and he was fantastic. I actually don't think he put a foot wrong in that whole game. Seems athletic. I remember, who's the guy on TalkSport who's the South American specialist?
Tim Vickery.
Tim Vickery, yeah.
He's a Spurs fan as well.
Yeah.
And he was like giving him plenty of plaudits and saying, listen, the kid's going to be special. He's being watched by the Brazilian coach for the World Cup, and 19 years old. And I mean, why not? Why risk? I just don't understand it. Like you said, what have we got to lose? And he wasn't, like I said, he came on the game before and did well. He probably had a little bit of confidence from that 30-minute full cameo.
The thing as well is, what we have to remember is, it was like we were playing a really good team last night, but we weren't. They haven't won a game since this year at all.
Mm-hmm.
They'd won as many games as we have, as in none.
Yep.
But yet we made them look special, and they are not special. They are rubbish.
Well,
that's happened a lot this season. We've made very, very average teams look great because we're that bad.
First game, I think. I don't know how long, but I've actually. I wouldn't say I missed because I was trying to get it on the plane frantically, trying to get some sort of 1 megabyte connection on the plane, and it just wasn't working. So I was getting updates from my like my mates, all the season ticket holders at the game on WhatsApp, and then the Colorado Spurs group, and Jeremy, who's been a guest of yours, he was giving me plenty of quick updates. But just it was interesting, right? Not actually watching the game and just seeing the feedback from everybody, and it just sounded terrible.
Yeah,
and it was.
And I think, like, back to your point around youth and players on the bench, and I was messaging with a mate yesterday while we were watching that game. We're creating very little. We look out of ideas. We've got so many injuries. It's like you've got Luca Williams-Barnett sat on the bench. Apparently a very good young attacking player. He was at the under 21 World Cup or whatever that World Cup junior is. And he tore it up there. Give him 20 minutes. Give him half an hour. Like, do something.
Well, he could have come on when Odeberg got injured, couldn't he?
Correct. But look, it seems to me a lot of these decisions, I mean, do you lay them solely at Frank's door? Maybe. I mean, but what's coming out now, it seems he wasn't very well liked amongst a bit of a core.
Well, I think there's a bit of arrogance amongst the players. I think they felt they were better than him. I don't think he was on a bit of a hiding to nothing with them. I don't know if you saw, but I saw another thing where it was. I think it might have been after the Arsenal game. He said he after the game he told the players he thought that the standards were dropping. Right, really, he tore into them in the changing rooms, and the next morning about 3 or 4 of them turned up late for training, including Romero, the captain.
Yeah.
That's not on, is it?
Not on at all.
It's bang out of order, but what will defend the players here is I think it's in business, right? When you if you've been mentored, if you've worked for really good managers or CEOs or whatever, in that scenario, people will go an extra mile. People will work harder. People will listen and be coachable. If you don't believe in your manager, in this case Frank, because whether it's a combination of his formations, how he sets us up, how he just got one MO, he's no different than freaking Edge. His MO is get the ball wide and just spam crosses. That is his MO. Edge's was bomb on, fullbacks push on, everyone jump in the midfield and leave a big giant gap behind. I don't think it's too dissimilar, just they're polar opposites in terms of entertainment or risk, right? He came across to me as, everyone keeps on saying, he's a nice guy. Okay, great, fucking wonderful, he's a nice guy. He's getting paid 8 million a year to be a nice guy, right? What he's not producing are results, an identity, a strategy.
And I think that's also paid out from what some of the players said. That they didn't like his coaching, and they didn't like the fact that he spent too much time focusing on the opposition and the way they play, and not on.
There'd be that, Graham, and also just on that point, so I don't forget this point. He seems to be a complete nerd, like meaning obsessed with data. And something that jumped out to me on the Pochettino recent interview, and to our listeners and viewers, if you haven't seen it, jump on and watch it. It's the high performance one. Pochettino and Jesus Perez were asked about Harry Kane. The very first answer Poch gave was, it's how a player carries himself. It's how he dresses. It's how he eats his fucking lunch and dinner. It's how he interacts with other players around him. It's how he carries himself. The data doesn't tell you that, right? And I felt that Frank got so obsessed with data. It seemed to me that a player could be a complete horrible bastard and not a good character and still get in the team because of his data, right? And that's a fundamental problem for me in how he approached the game. But back to you, Graham. Sorry, mate, I spoke over you there.
I forgot.
Can I just say something on that point, though?
Yeah.
The whole data thing, and it was fantastic what he said. That to me, just exactly. There's a place for it, right? I still believe, though, that a good coach, a good manager can see something in somebody, right? That data's not going to show them. It wasn't like Frank had done an amazing job and won things from data alone. If you look at the other club that's probably associated with taking a data approach, Brighton.
Yeah.
Brighton, leaps and bounds have been better than Brentford over the last 5 seasons. Leaps and bounds. So it's not like he was a standout with his data approach, right? He did really well to keep Brentford a bang average championship level team in the Premier League. He went away, and look what Keith Edwards has done.
Yeah. This is my point. I'm pretty sure that the success of Brentford and Brighton and Bournemouth is not the managers. It's the club setup. It's the way that they're set up as a production line to to bring new players through. So they already know how they're going to play, and they bring a coach in to play that way. Because you've only got to look at what happened with who's the guy who was at Chelsea?
Potter.
Graham Potter, right?
Yeah.
Did amazing job at Brighton. Shit the bed everywhere else he's been since then. And then for me, it's because at Brighton, he had like it was like a well-oiled machine. He just he almost had to just put him out on the pitch. And when they inevitably sold half the team to Chelsea, he had the same number of players coming in behind who were as good, if not better. And they've kept doing that for like, I don't know, about 10 years now. Quite a long time. They've been stable in the league, right? And then same with Brentford. Well, you got to remember, in the summer, not only did they lose 8 of their staff to us, but they lost their 3 best players as well.
Yeah.
So and yet they're doing even better this season than they did under it. Hey, Keith.
Hey,
Hi,
Keith.
Keith.
So I forgot to mention that we were having yet another person join us. So hi, Keith.
Yeah.
We all. It's going to be a bit of a tag team today because Keith was a bit late because he had an appointment, and Glenn's got an appointment later, and he will leave us.
Yeah.
So the shape of the screen will change.
Podcast today.
Yeah.
We're just talking about Frank being chosen with his data-driven approach, but it's to your point, right? With the players again, I think most of the other clubs have done, and Brentford including, have done some fantastic recruitment. They've done it again this season, right? That Igor is like banging them in for them, doing really well up top. Has it? I'll put a question to you, right? Man City game. What I can tell you, or what my opinion is 100%. Our first half was down to how Frank set us up. His team talk before, his lack of inspiration, etc. That second half, do you think that was Frank, or do you think that was the players saying, fuck this, we're going to give it a go and we're just going to go all out? Because that's what it looked like to me. It was like all of a sudden they said, we're going to drop the plan here and we're going to have a go. And that
it's not the only game where that's happened as well. I don't think.
Absolutely.
Anything where there's been a
Villa in the cup, even though we lost the game, Villa in the cup comes to mind.
Yeah. Anything where there's a Jekyll and Hyde game, like where we're shit in the first half and better in the second half, I think that's got nothing to do with him. I'm not sure. I'm not sure he could get a team up off the ground half time if he tried.
I know. Ange is like to bring him back in the conversation again. My position is, and I've argued this with loads of people. Ange didn't win us a European Cup trophy. The players did. That wasn't Ange's tactics that won us one of the worst games to watch in a final against Man U. That was a terrible Man U team playing a terrible Spurs team, and then the players actually giving a crap at the final there. I know Andrew is a different level in terms of a motivator. I know Glenn's got a bit of a different opinion on Andrew with me, and can't take away that he was the coach when it happened. But again, I think it's down to players, and I don't know what the answer is right now. Well, I think I know what the answer is, whether it will pan out that way or not. But yeah, when it comes to Frank, this data-driven PE teacher that looks like a deer in the headlights. In the interviews, he doesn't want to answer the hard questions. He essentially says the same things over and over again. It's miserable, and I can only imagine how uninspiring he is.
Just coming back to the point on Ange, I sit somewhere in the middle on that. I won't go too much into detail, but one thing I will say is I don't think he would have been seen dead drinking from an Arsenal cup. He knew the fabric of the club. No, you don't do that.
I wish we could harness parts of Ange, absolutely. How he connects with us as fans.
Yeah.
Passion. He's frankly don't give a shit about what people think. I think there's lots of qualities in that. If we could harness that and put that with a tactician and somebody that I'm not going to say is a winner because Ange is a winner like that. I don't know. I don't know if that person lies out there, but yeah. I agree.
Keith, I want to get because I'm still here and I'm going to be bouncing soon. But Keith, I want your immediate raw reaction to the news, my friend. How did you receive it? How are you feeling? You happy? You relieved? It had to happen in all of our views. What's your view, mate?
Absolutely relieved. I felt he should have gone after the West Ham game.
Easy,
even though we were coming into that Dortmund game, it was just abysmal. And to echo Stephen's point, he's milquetoast. He was just bland, blah about everything. There was even his press conferences. That's one thing you can say for Ange. You went into his press conferences and you knew he gave a damn. And I watched Frank and it was just, well, we lost because they're a really good team and we didn't play our best. And Suck
Yeah,
it
I
up
got
and
sick and
show
tired.
some damn passion, for God's sakes. Want
Yeah.
somebody, you can be bland about stuff if you're winning everything. But if you're not winning everything, you got to show people you care. There is
Yeah.
nothing worse. And I'm one of those coaches. I expect Stevens the same way. That I hate losing probably worse than my players do. I absolutely loathe it. And, I'm not going to lay blame at other people's feet. If they've gone out and tried their best, then I'll say to them, yeah, well done. You did your best, blah, blah, blah. But I'm still going to go into a talk to the press and I'm going to say, I didn't do enough. We didn't do enough. I've got to be better. Take some responsibility. And there was just none of that.
It's interesting you touched on it. Stephen made a comment before you got here. That it's all about who you're doing it for, right?
Yeah.
It's so I left a job in 2022. I've been with the company a long time. I've been there 15 years. I won't go too much of the details, but the bottom line was I wasn't enjoying who I was doing it for. I was still doing the same gig, but what was around me and above me, I just didn't jive with it. So I'm like, I'm just going to leave. And now I'm at a place where I'm really, really, really enjoy who I'm doing it for, and I'll go that extra mile, right, for that particular person because I believe in what they're doing is jives with me. And I think you've got to look at the players, and I think there was a bit of that. Now, I don't subscribe so much to the players have yet again down tools for another manager. I just think Frank lost the dressing room, and I think
it was a tough dressing room to win over after what had happened, though, right? Because
correct.
They all, I think they built something with Ange, obviously with the win in the Europa League last season, and they were all
there was some level of momentum there, right?
And there was they built that kind of relationship. And then to have him go and then have someone completely new come in who had very, very different footballing philosophies and wasn't as engaged with the players as Ange was, must have been tough. And I think, and I still say, I think one of the problems with him is he still thinks like we're Brentford. So like he's thinking like we're a small team and we have to consider how everyone else plays rather than impose ourselves on other teams. And I just don't think it works.
Not lose.
Yeah,
and that's
against teams that we should. But the problem is that we ended up because we wouldn't push teams.
What if you go away and Man City away? Are teams that Everton away? We should be setting ourselves up to go and stuff 2 or 3-0. That's I think. And do you know what? I think one of the moments that killed it for me the most, honestly, after I said, give him till Christmas, I said to myself, so I wasn't even gone off at Christmas because it was like, to me, I just couldn't see any sign of how we were going to improve, even with the injuries going out. Because don't forget as well, guys, there was a good part of the first half of the season, he did have most of his squad. Yeah, Kulusevski and Maddison have been out. Aside from them two, he had most of his squad. When he said that, and this was after about, third or fourth game, that we hadn't had a win, we'd had a couple of losses, one or draw maybe. And he said, I can see that we're improving. And I was like,
no one else
mate,
could.
What are you talking about? Like, and can you imagine being a player in that team? I'd be fuming.
Yeah.
I would be one of the players that would call out and say, do you know what, coach? You're full of shit.
Yeah.
On top of that, I can't, and I think you're right about around Christmas, you think, right, he's had what, 6 months with the players now by that stage? And there wasn't a single player in that team who I thought had improved since the start of the season.
Well, and this is my whole thing.
Not a single one.
His last post-match with us, I really took issue with this. He said for the last 2 years, this has been a pattern and we're trying to change and fix it. And I'm like, mate, it's almost March.
We was also fifth the season before last, and then we finished in the top 5 or whatever it is, like something like 7 out of the last 10 years. Like, what is this narrative that people? And it's just it is listening to some nonsense in the media, right? And using that and as a.
I've also been really surprised. Ange got pelters from anyone and everyone, right, in the media last season. This season, I've been so surprised at how supportive the media's been of him. They've absolutely, it's not his fault, it's everything else. I'm like, sorry, but you can't, that's not right. But also, when you think about
and they're not, the thing is, right, it's like the pundits. The pundits, Graham, on your point there, they're literally, all of them in the media have been like, we need to give him more time. I'm not thinking, you know what? You go and earn 40 grand a year and spend 90 quid on a fucking ticket in a game to watch that shit and see us with... and then tell that person that they're wrong and you're right.
Yeah.
That's what I'll be.
I think even if you could like for like compare this season with last season, like similar because we're progressing well in Europe. We're having a shit league season. But if you look at the shit league season we had last year, for a period of about 4 months, we didn't have any of our back four, and we didn't have a goalkeeper for about 2 months.
Yeah.
So
we had Fraser Forster at times.
And Austin played about 3 or 4 games, and then Kinski came in. We were playing Archie Gray and Basuma as a centre backs. You know, we still conceded less goals last season than we've been conceding this season.
Yeah.
So we've had our first choice back four for most of the season, and we've still been porous. So it's like, yes, we've had injuries, but actually this season we've been able to keep large parts of the squad or the team even stable, and that's still not helped.
So unfortunately, I need to leave in a minute. But one thing I want to say before I do, and I'll leave.
You need to tell us who you think we need to have. And who
exactly. That's where I'm going. You're great minds. So 2 things. The club for me at this time do not need to focus on getting this perfect for the future. We need a guy in the door who can motivate the fucking players, who can maybe play some level of decent football that's pleasing on the eye, and is probably going to get us 3 to 4 wins to ensure that we stay up and maybe get that connection with the fans again. The person I would actually go for on an interim basis would be Jurgen Klinsmann. I'd bring him in the door. He'd connect with the fans immediately. I'd give him a 3-month gig. So you got to the end of the season. You just got to keep us up, mate. You got to do what you did with your goals in 97 when you came back and wore the number 33 shirt. That's all we need from you. Just go win games of football and then completely reassess things in May, June. This is not the time to say this is a root and branch assess. No, we just need to win games of football. We're going to fucking get really sucked into this if we don't.
We need 3 wins from 12 matches.
Correct. We just need 3 wins.
That is the brief, right? I don't care if you win the first 3 games. I'm completely happy with that. And 3 wins gets us to 38 points, doesn't it?
Sheringham, Michael Dawson, and Jermaine Defoe in his team, and I'd probably bring Ryan Mason in as well. That would be the group for me, and maybe Les Ferdinand, as he's done it before as well with us, or Tim Sherwood. That's what I'd do. Whether they do that or not remains to be seen, but I do not want to hear competing on all fronts and a big net. No, just get a guy in that can connect with the fans and win some games of fucking football. That's what we need.
Exactly. Because barring a miracle, we're not going to win the Champions League, right?
Correct.
Good run in that. We've done ourselves proud. Great. Yeah. If we could, whoever comes in, well, I know this is a little bit like living in La La Land, but just think about this. We're all so miserable and depressed right now, so I'm going to bring everyone back up a little bit just for this season. New manager comes in, we beat them wankers in that game, right?
There's your first 3 points.
They then have to play City, and City beat them. That gets them level and points, and then their arsehole goes, and they don't win, and then that's me.
That's season done, yeah. I tell you what, it reminds me, I'll listen to my final point. I can't remember, we'd sacked George Graham, and our very first game with Glenn Hoddle as manager was Arsenal in the FA Cup semi-final. Now, we didn't win the game, but it's quite fitting that if you're to bring a Tottenham man back and a club man back, and it's Arsenal, the first game that he's going to manage, that's quite fitting for me. I just hope it's not Heitinga or something. That's going to be flat.
It will be.
For me,
I think he'll be the manager.
It's either Harry or Tim Sherwood for me.
Yeah, maybe. I can see it, and I can see Mason as well. I'll leave you guys to it. So Graham.
Yeah, I think they should be fine.
All right. Enjoy the chat. I'm looking forward to watching this one.
Well,
Nicky, see you, Stephen.
See you, Glenn. Thank you.
Graham. Thanks, guys.
Cheers, mate.
So I don't know if you saw on Sky News earlier, and
Stephen, you might need to move yourself over a bit. You're out of frame. Yeah.
There we go. Sorry. Yeah, so I don't know if you see the Sky News report earlier, and Harry. They just got was getting Harry's opinion on what everything had happened, and you know everyone knows how he is, and he totally threw his hat in the ring. He said, "Yeah, of course I'd do the job." And do you know what's pissing me off is like listening to. I was in TalkSport after, and a few of his Andy Goldstein, Aaron Bent, I think someone else might have called up, and they was almost laughing it off, like what a stupid idea. And I'm like, he's been out of football for a bit. Football hasn't necessarily changed. It's everything around it, the entertainment, the brand, the money, right? But they kept on mentioning his age. I mean, he's 78. He is fit as a fiddle. He is like so switched on still. And I think to myself, if
he ain't got to play.
Exactly. If anyone's going to go in that change room, if there's anyone that you could know and have confidence in going into a change room and getting a group of young men to rally together, give them a kick up the arse, and get them to play for the rest of the season for those fans and us fans that are watching outside, not in the stadium, it's a no-brainer for me. He's happy with his life. He'll be happy to. I'll come in, spend the rest of this season, take a few quid for it, and then hand the reins over to whoever the next person's going to be. So he would be my number one choice. But then it wasn't my idea. Someone shouted Tim Sherwood, and do you know what? I was like, he's a Spurs
he put
man.
himself forward as well.
He's put himself out there. I think
I still don't trust a man with an Arsenal tattoo, though.
that's fair enough. What do you reckon,
I can't
Graham?
believe we had a Tottenham captain with an Arsenal tattoo. I know Sol Campbell probably went on to get one, but that was after the fact, not before.
Yeah. Who's your choice for if there is an interim?
How about you, Keith? What do you think?
Well, I really like Glenn's point of possibly bringing in Klinsmann. He was not somebody I'd considered at all. He was outside of my view, and I saw the Harry Redknapp stuff, Hoddle.
Yeah.
I posted on one of the chats earlier that we need a Carrick, a guy that has played for the club, a guy that has seen success with the club, a guy that bleeds Tottenham.
Well, the other one that's doing the rounds is Robbie Keane, right? He's had a couple of first-team manager jobs now in Israel, and he's in Hungary with Ferencváros at the moment. And by all accounts, he's done a very good job. Plays quite a nice style of football. It's an option. I think he'd get the support of the supporters, but then you could put a team around him, right? You could even put I'd quite happy. Harry would be a great person to have around the dressing room. I think just put a team around him, just to get.
I don't think that's difficult. I think we've just thrown out 4 or 5 different names, and I don't think there's anyone. If it was made clear that this was an interim solution, I don't think there's anybody right now that would complain.
Here's the thing, I think though, and this is the Keno issue. He's got a full-time gig.
Yeah.
Is he going to want to step in and take a 3-month stint?
True.
To be pushed out again, or to become an assistant again?
Yeah.
And so I don't think Robbie Keane is the right choice at this time.
But with Keane, I think he's the exception from the others. The others are all just enjoying life and retirement or being out of football, pretty much.
He's still got a lot to prove, hasn't he?
Robbie Keane, what if he came in and did an absolutely smashing job? Would he be thinking, could I get the gig long term?
Yeah,
right?
yeah. It's an audition, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's fair enough. But then does that put Poch out of the?
Yeah, I guess depends how those 12 matches go. I guess it's like a mini series.
The whole thing with Poch is so he's my choice. I've wanted Poch back now since when Ange started. I know it's like rose-tinted glasses for a lot of it, and there were periods when we didn't win away for God knows how long, 10 months, 9 months, something like that. And we had that weird self-imposed embargo by Levy where we didn't have a transfer for 18 months and exit. Again, pundits, non-Spurs people saying, well, he wasn't successful, to when people calling in. There was a guy earlier, he said he wants Poch. He's like, but he didn't win anything. And I'm like, you don't get it. Like, I'm now, gosh, like I said, my Spurs memory goes back to 1980, 80-81 season. That's when my memory goes back to.
Child.
And I was a kid, yeah. And I was young then, so I probably wasn't as passionate then as I have been as an adult. But let's just say in the last 30 years of supporting Spurs, 35 years, that's the happiest I've been as a Spurs fan. At 15, 16, 16, 17, the 16-17 season, every week, it would be like, are we going to win? It's like, how many are we going to win by? We were unbelievable. And that feeling of just being like, we are one of the top teams. Like and on top of that, playing amazing football. Like I'll be happy with that again. I would be absolutely happy with that again.
And the other thing about what you're saying is it wasn't like we were a team full of superstars.
No, he made them superstars.
And actually, if
he made them believe.
If you think about that first season was a massive upheaval, right? Because he got rid of a large chunk of that squad. He basically took a look at everyone, decided which ones were going to go on the journey with him, and anyone who wasn't.
It was the Bell money, wasn't it? It was the Magnificent Seven from the Bell money. A lot of those were
Yeah, and was it Kabul? He went. There's a whole bunch of them that were like regular first teamers that just clearly didn't buy into what he wanted, and they were just gone. And he started playing. Who's the other guy? Is he Moroccan guy? The midfielder.
Was it Bentaleb?
Bentaleb. Yeah, Nabil Bentaleb. Yeah, he ended up playing quite well and ended up leaving in the end. I don't know what happened there, and then Ryan Mason, and then of course Kane, and so all of these kind of ended up being the core of how he started his
and young players as well.
Revolution.
Yeah.
They were all young
as well.
So there's a lot of similarities if you think. Like there's probably a lot of older players in our squad that like the Ben Davies, the Bissouma. There are players that shouldn't be there anymore, should have been gone. We're just really bad at moving players on when they're no longer
you know what a lot
wanted.
of people object to? And again, I think it's just a narrative. I keep hearing over and over again, well, you shouldn't go back, like it doesn't ever work and I'm like, okay, well, how many times has this happened? Because I can think of Mourinho going to Chelsea. Who else? What other managers can you remember going back to a club and it not working out?
Yeah,
you have to think about it.
Well, here's your example: is David Moyes.
Yeah, he went to West Ham twice, didn't he?
Well, he went to Everton twice. He's back there now, and they're doing well.
So that's my point. It hardly ever happens. When it has happened, this narrative that it never works out. Show me when it hasn't. Show me when it hasn't worked out. So again, I just think it's. I think media nonsense a lot of time. They do it for clicks, they do it for likes. Whereas the actual reality is Poch bleeds our club. He gave us the most attractive and exciting football. Did he make some bad decisions? Absolutely. Was it a difficult? Yes. Did he come out and tell us that we needed to have a major overhaul and we need the investment? Ultimately, that cost him his job. And maybe some of the dressing room as well.
I have a theory about his tenure at the club, which is that I think that players that he had aged twice as quickly in terms of the physical demands on them as a normal team. So I think because he was doing double sessions for training, the pace at which we played the game was so fast. Like we were constantly 100 miles an hour everywhere and everything we did.
On and off the ball.
Yeah, and so I felt like there's a lot of players that they dropped off. They did drop off a lot, and he knew that, and that's why he talked about, like you need to make some difficult decisions, difficult changes. I think he knew that you needed to keep refreshing the squad, and I think that those criminal windows where we did nothing actually meant that we ended up suffering the consequences of the way that he played, and but he tried to tell everyone, and no one listened. And it was too late.
And those consequences are lagging still to now, in my opinion, Graham.
100%.
After the Champions League final, when we didn't invest, what we did after that was piecemeal and trying to play catch up again. And that has just killed us. That has really, really killed us. It almost, I think, yes, it could be going back to Poch's, like going backwards a little in terms of your coach selection, but he will galvanize the fans. He will get the buy-in from the fans. He will act as the buffer between him and the board, between the team, the fans, and the board. So essentially, I think that will take the heat off them a little bit because it still looks like they're not going to be selling anytime soon. We know we're going to get good football and exciting football. We know the potential is for him to create success with us. He's great with kids, and we have got to have one of the most talented under 21, 22 group of players in the Premier League, without a doubt.
There are 5 or 6 on that under 21 squad that should be pushing for more and more time. And Frank just refused to give it to him.
And Keith, but even the ones that are starting, Udebert, Bray,
Bergvall, yeah. Even got that to come back in.
We haven't even seen him for a minute. But then there's other talented players that have been out on loan, and we don't know. Mikey Moore.
Mikey Moore to come back. He's been doing really well up in Scotland.
Back on top of those under 21 squad players that aren't getting game time that you mentioned. We could be set up really good for the next 4 or 5 years, which is kind of a cycle. You see the best teams, the players are they start to churn after 4 or 5 years. And you have to Graham's point, and what he mentioned, you need to make those changes, right? And so
I'd be happy to have a another transitional year next year. It's not going to, as long as you can see like an identity on the pitch and you can see the improvement through the season. So you can see them buying into it and getting it. And then it, but because at the moment, I just feel like it's been flat. We flatlined the whole season. Nothing's got better. If anything, it's been a downward spiral almost, as we've lost players as well. Even when we had all of our players available, it was not good to watch. I don't think we got the best out of the players that we had. And some of the players were misused. I'm like, Kudus started really strongly, but by the time, just before he got injured, I could predict everything he would do every time he got the ball. And if I could do it, then the other team are definitely seeing it. Because he would always... He'd always come back inside, slow the attack down, and then they'd get all their players back behind the ball, and the momentum would be lost. So, like,
and that's because Frank wants him to get the cross in, but because Kudus is so rapid, he'd often get down the byline.
There'd be no one there, no one to keep up with him.
Cut in. But then when you keep doing that, like you said, it's so repetitive, and it was on the cards that he was going to get injured because we ignored the left side because Son's gone, and what we had out there,
and we didn't replace him.
Odegaard. It was on Odegaard, like I was his biggest critic, and he actually started to show some signs of, actually, maybe this kid has got a bit about him, and he gets bloody injured. But my point being is, again, that's Frank's MO that caused Kudus' injury. You just couldn't.
I know I didn't enjoy Frank's football. I think that he gave way too much respect to average and bad teams, which led to us every game feeling like an uphill struggle, even the ones where we should be winning comfortably. But I do still think that he was badly let down by the club in terms of recruitment. I think squad building, I don't understand how we ended with a January window like we did, considering the situation we were in. And let's be honest, it happened last year as well, right? In January when we were in deep shit again with injuries. Mm-hmm. I think we signed Danso and Kinski, I think were the two. Or did we get anyone else?
Yeah.
I think that was it. But maybe did we get another outfield player?
Did Tel come then on loan?
No, didn't we get, what's his name back? The German.
Timo Werner.
Werner. Yeah, Werner came back again, didn't he? So like, yeah, so like that was...
Movement's been hot. It frankly has been horrible. Don't get me wrong. I think we've got some great young talent in there. One or two players have come good, but probably 70% of our money has been wasted, in my opinion.
I think that Langer's role in the two-person setup that they started out with him focusing on youth recruitment for like the under-21s, I'm okay with that because, that we can go out and start to do what the other teams have been doing, which is to buy the best young players and have them with us for a couple of years in the academy. So then by the time we get into the first team, that we've got they can be homegrown players or home trained or whatever the terminology is for that. But I don't want him anywhere near the first team recruitment. And I think Paratici did absolutely nothing. I really don't think he did anything. I mean, like any one of the three of us could have gone and chosen Conor Gallagher.
Yeah, I said to one of my groups, my mates back home where you are, I was like, just think of what we did, right? We re-employed him, and then he told us he's got this opportunity with, was it Fiorentina?
Fiorentina, yeah.
And then the board said, well, we're going to keep you on to the end of the transfer window, and the transfer window ends, and he didn't sign anyone. So we kept him employed, paid him a wage from our budget to not sign anyone.
And they signed more players than we did.
Fiorentina,
yeah,
absolutely.
So
including Manor Solomon.
Yeah. Here's my thing about the January transfer window. We bought Conor Gallagher. He's okay. He's not somebody I went, oh my God, thank God we got this guy. He's going to change the team. And we got rid of Brennan Johnson.
Yeah.
Right at the start of the window.
And I still think the only reason we got Gallagher was because Bentancur got injured. I think if he hadn't got injured, we wouldn't have made that signing.
I don't mind Gallagher. I think he's
I don't. I've got nothing against the guy. All I'm saying is that we didn't make any steps forward with him. We just.
So I think on your point, Keith, I actually think both of those scenarios, the outcome was good. Like Brennan Johnson, I know he got goals for us. He's a good kid. He's apparently really good in the change rooms, but I just didn't understand how.
He was a bit one-dimensional, wasn't he?
Yeah, and
he was very weak defensively.
I was
back post tap-ins. That's his speciality.
And he's on the bench again today. And the Palace fans are already like, have we paid this much
waste of money? Yeah.
Our pants down, right? So I don't mind that bit of business, but we didn't replace him. That's the important part. And this nonsense about we didn't want to do panic buys, fine. Go and do a panic loan. Like, get some bodies in.
Yeah.
Just get some bodies in. So, and just competent players, right? They haven't got to be pulling up trees.
Yeah.
And if you're not going to do that, then you better just start giving minutes to these kids, because we don't have any other options.
So here's the other concern I have, and Graham triggered this in my mind. Pochettino's training methods, as we know, can be brutal. And our medical staff right now has got to leave a lot to be desired. I mean, I sit there and I look at our injury list, and yes, we've had some really, really bad luck when it comes to like Odegaard tearing his ACL, Maddison being done for the season, Kulu not. But part of this is no one's recovering from these injuries.
No.
We're not seeing them getting back out particularly quickly.
Other teams, someone will snap their femur and they'll be back quicker than somebody who gets I've got a little hairline fracture in my ankle or something. There's something going on.
I broke a toe.
There's something going on at the club, whether it's with medical staff, whether it's with training type, intensity, recovery, all of that combined. I don't know where I read it. It was on one of the groups again. Someone said something about a theory of, I think we do quite a bit of training on 4G, and maybe that is impacting the body a lot more.
I think the other thing is modern pitches. They're grass, but they're not really just grass, are they? They're all like they've got man-made fibers in them as well, like interwoven to hold it all together. So, I think there's been some investigation into that, whether that's impacted the number of injuries that people have got because of like twisting and muscular joints.
Well, and I think boots have a lot.
Keith and I are in Colorado. Everything out here is like 4G,
Astro.
right? It's AstroTurf. And there's so many in the school soccer here, so many ACLs, particularly with girls. And a lot of that they think is because girls' muscles and tendons develop so much quicker that the actual ligaments don't keep up with the strength of their muscles in their legs in their teenage years, combined with the fact that you're playing on these surfaces where essentially any kind
unforgiving.
The boots not moving and the body is.
One of the things that I would throw into that is the technology of the boots.
Yeah.
You know, we are developing better and better technology around creating boots that grip like there is no tomorrow. And particularly, as Stephen said, for the kids playing high school, they're using those boots. They dig into that artificial turf. And when you twist, the boot doesn't give, the grass doesn't give. So the next thing to go is your knee somewhere or your ankle somewhere.
Yeah.
And I just feel like that is a huge, huge part of it. And again, I'm old as freaking dirt. And I grew up and it was 6 studs.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they were metal and about an inch and a half long as well.
Yeah, and on your way onto the field, if you were crossing the road, you scuffed your feet,
sharpen them up a bit,
so that you could sharpen and get some.
If coming back to the news today and everything, so De Zerbi left with immediate effect.
He is literally the only manager who's more of a basket case than our club is. Absolute mental case, that bloke. Can you imagine it? Can you imagine him, Harry, get on with the Lewis family? I just can't. Him and Vinay having lunch like Frank does, chewing the fat.
And I'm
lots of that.
How are he and Romero going to get along?
Yeah. I
like the rumble in the jungle.
I think that could be a bad combination, but I mean, the guy plays a lot of possession football, plays exciting football, best football Brighton have played in their last three managers for sure. On what you mentioned, Vinay, I'm surprised that. No, I'm not actually, because they're all arseholes. But they haven't come out. You'd expect the CEO to come out, right, and explain the decision and tell us what they're going to do. Don't have to tell us who the choice is. What is the plan? You've announced that you fired Frank. We wanted that. Great. This CEO, former Gooner, who said a lot of good things at the beginning of the season, and recently came out again, and they did a fans forum with the trust, etc. That some of what he said is what you want to hear. I want to hear from him. He's the CEO. He's the top dog, because we don't ever talk to the Lewis family. So tell us what's going on. What is the plan?
Interesting that in Frank's interview after the match yesterday, he said, someone asked him, are you going to be in charge for the Arsenal game? And he said, I'm 1,000% sure I will be.
Yep.
I spoke with Vinay
Yep.
and Johan Langer yesterday, and I have their full support. Well, he clearly didn't have someone's support, did he? And if it wasn't them, it must have come from the Lewis family.
Yep.
So that there's one. What is it that I can't remember the name of the daughter? Her husband is one of the finance guys at the club.
Okay.
And I think he has a lot of say. He's like this spokesperson for the Lewis family, I think. And I think he's involved in some way. I think I've seen a couple of interviews with him online where he's talking about the finance side of the business rather than the football. And he talks a lot about the stadium as not one mention of the word football in the entire conversation, which kind of winds me up.
So I got a mate whose ex-wife worked in Lily White House.
Okay.
And she has flat out said that Levy was not fun to be around. But since he left, it's become a clown show. That they siblings have no idea what they're doing with regard to managing a football club. They might be stadium managers and they can get
business, finance, all of the kind of.
But
I also think that I think I've mentioned it before on this pod in another episode that with Charrington, apparently I heard someone say that he didn't know how many players there were in a football team. Right. And if that's true, what can you say to that?
The only thing he's been brought for reason only, and that's to position the club.
Eyes and ears.
Banker.
Eyes and ears, though. He's the eyes and ears on the board from the Lewis family, right? But then so I saw another really good one today, which is he's the only Charrington who couldn't run a piss up in a brewery.
Yeah, I see. I've seen a few. So what do we think's realistic then in terms of long-term managers? I mean, I think everyone.
I can't see past Poch in the summer. What about we haven't really talked about this, but is there as I understand it, and you guys can probably tell me there, I don't think the US has only got 2 more friendly matches before the tournament. Yep. So that's not a lot of commitment for the manager. Would there be an option where Poch joins us now to the end of the season?
I said that on one of our groups earlier. I said, I said exactly the same thing. I was like, what? It could happen. He can do both. It's not a low commitment. I don't know how it works out contractually.
And the other option would be that he kind of has a part role, but actually Jesus Perez could be the interim until the summer as another option. Because that way he turns up and he's already got all the information he needs about the squad and who he wants to keep and who he doesn't want to keep. Because I'm pretty sure that's what Perez does anyway.
One of the big things they're going to have to do, if they're going to attract if they want to bring in the long-term manager now or after an interim, irrespective, surely the only way they're going to make this exciting is they're going to say, here is a legitimate amount of money. Here's a serious amount of money. We know we've been holding it back. We were going to spend, but we didn't let Frank spend it because we didn't have the faith or the trust in him, which was, I've had that. That's been my position for a while now. I think that could attract someone to come to our club and be like, we're not going to be serious contenders. We're going to need an interim season. Like you said, Graham, again. But if someone come in and said, listen, we've got 300, 400 million to spend on top of the talent you've got there. We've got to get rid of a few but
I think as well is that I still think, right, we're never going to be competing for the top tier players because like happened with Semenyo in the January window, right? We offered him more money than Man City and he went to Man City because why would you come to us when you can go to Man City or Arsenal or Liverpool or exactly? We're going to have to overpay for players. But then again, do you want those kind of players? If you're building something, you want people who are going to buy into that. And yes, you want good players, but I think I'd rather have malleable players because I think if you're buying those top tier, you want the right people who are going to listen.
And if there's one person you know who's going to do that, is Poch.
Yeah,
Pochettino.
He will pick that person.
I don't think the 1 or 2 times that we brought in big names like Ndombele that was the one we did buy in the summer after the Champions League final, wasn't it?
Was that Ndombele?
Yeah.
And we paid 60 plus million for that.
I can't remember when a French African player's worked out for us.
I know. Sar's doing all right.
Yeah, that's fair shout.
There's been a few others that have done okay for us, but I
Would
just
you
think,
say a Suricato?
yeah, I actually think the issue is actually more the French bit rather than anything else.
No, I agree.
I think the French league is overrated. Still do think it's overrated, and I think that very few players that come out of the French league really go on to be
One thing that needs to be
players.
addressed 100% is we need a new goalkeeper. I am not having RO1 be.
That's just why we were prepping to come on. I saw the news that Vicario wants out. He wants to go to Milan, and talking about 30 million. I'd quite happy take 30 million for him
all day long.
I can think of about 4 goalkeepers that I'd probably prefer over him at the moment. Even Kinski at the moment, I'd probably prefer over him.
Yeah, I'd go and get Dean Henderson.
Can Kinski kick a ball off the ground?
Yeah, he's got that.
Yes.
That's an improvement over Vic, but that's an area that's going to have to be addressed. I mean, there's obvious players still we need to get rid of, right? Bissouma needs to go. We can't have a 1 in 15 games performance.
Richarlison,
yeah.
Moani can go. He can go back wherever he came from.
Yeah.
So here are a couple of questions because I threw this out here. Stephen was responding to a question I posed on our chat earlier when I said, okay, so Poch finishes in July. Is that time to get players in? And which players stay and which players go? Players that I can see us moving on. I think Romero, maybe. Somebody said with Pochettino being Argentinian, maybe he can get the best out of Romero. But Romero right now is he's a liability. You can't trust him to make the right decisions most of the time. He's good for a yellow card a game, and he gets one, and it doesn't prevent him getting another one. He doesn't play smart enough. I love his passion. I love the fact that he's banging in goals. But, I look at...
It's a lot of money to replace the same quality, though. That's a lot of money.
But let's be honest, if he just signed a new contract, so if he goes, he's going for big money, right?
Is Vuskovic good enough?
Is Mickey. Because Mickey looks miserable. He had that spat with the fans as well. I mean, he speaks well. He carries himself well. He comes across like a guy who's got good morals. He seems like he would be one of the good guys in the changing room. But he has really shown his quality this season.
His body language has been off, hasn't it, though?
And he knows he's being lauded all throughout media and by other managers, etc. So he knows that.
Well, he's had Gary Neville blowing smoke up his arse already, isn't he?
A better team. Again, contracted well, but that's Levy's MO, right? He takes those gambles, and sometimes they pay off. Which, I don't understand the people that are saying about. I'm not sure if we'll even see a minute in a Spurs shirt, and I'm like, well,
that's our decision, right?
We own him to 2030.
That's our decision to make.
I don't know. Percy Keith, I would make a big effort to keep Romero. I think Romero is I think what we see is an extension of the problems at the club. I think there's so much anger mixed with passion. I think he does care. He's a winner. He wants to win. And I think don't get me wrong, he's certainly not the polished product. I get so annoyed sometimes. There's so many bad passes that put us in trouble sometimes. But he makes up for it with the rest of it.
Okay, and that's fair.
I definitely think our midfield needs a rework as well, right? I think we've bought too many players with a similar profile.
Yeah.
So they're all like box to box number 8s. There's like about 4 or 5 of them, but yet we're really lacking some more of a sitting defender. Polini is probably the only one, and he's a bit limited in it. He does one thing very well. He's not like, unfortunately, I think he's a player for a team that doesn't have a lot of possession. So like when you haven't got the ball, he's the one you want to win it back or to break up play.
I'm a big.
But for teams for us, if we've got the ball more often, we've got 60+% possession of the ball. You need someone who can at least, stroke a few passes around as well.
Yeah,
and I think that's his only limitation for me. But he's done all right this season.
I think he's a good option. I would too. I think if anything, he would be an alternative. You know,
Yeah, he's
either coming off the bench,
I'd 100% have him as
starting and going out when things aren't going well.
I think there are games that you would not play him against the bottom 4 teams because you want people who are going to go and damage him. But you do what, for me, he's the kind of player you want against City and Liverpool, and someone that, because the amount of times we get.
I would have made him captain.
Yeah.
And when you see that game the other day, he came out at half time and he was the one, even though Mickey when Romero got sent off, Mickey had the armband and he is the other captain. He wasn't doing the talking. You watch Polina was the one that was doing the rally at half time when they gathered together. I love Polina. I'd have him, like you said, outside of games where we don't need a true 6 just sitting there mopping up and breaking up play. Outside of that, I'd have him start every game in that position with his experience. And then I actually think I think there's one area I think where we can be okay. And I think a lot of it's down to Frank again on how he set us up and how we play. We do not play through the middle. You've all seen the stats. We're the bottom of the league for 3 passes through midfield. We're the bottom of the league in forward passes. So nothing is played through there. It's just always get the ball, play it out wide. So,
and those are fairly basic patterns of play, right? That's the decision. He's chosen to play that way. Yeah. And I think it hasn't got the best out of the players that we have had. Like, not playing through the middle kind of means Xavi has to drift out into the wider areas to pick the ball up, right?
Well, to be in the game.
Xavi's the number 10.
Exactly that.
That's where he should be playing.
Same with Bench.
He should be the number 10. We should stop playing with 2 freaking pivot 6s all the time.
Oh, it's ridiculous.
And just play with 1.
It's ridiculous. Yeah. Have you seen that stat with Bentancur? Like before Frank came in, since Frank came in, his forward pass rate had dropped by something like 80%. And it's because the song is sideways and backwards everywhere we go. Yeah. Because that's what Frank wants to do. Get the ball, play it, just get it wide. And to get it wide, he doesn't go through the middle to get it wide. And most people will play through the middle and then maybe it's an opportunity, get it wide in the final third, get it to the byline, get the crossing, right? And so I don't think it's the players. Again, I think it's Frank's style of play. I think whoever comes in, give them a bit of strategy, a bit of structure, let them play in their proper roles where they're meant to play, and just go back to some of the basics. And I think you'll see a different Tottenham team, even with the players we've got now.
See, I think so. Guys, I would keep Bergvall.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I think he's got great potential. I think Gray has great potential as well.
I think he's
really good.
In a couple of really bad performances of a team, he's still held his own. I've been really impressed with him this season, and we finally got to see him play regularly in midfield, which obviously, and I know he's played right back a few times, but then again, needs must. But actually, he's not been playing centre back, which was insane. But he's never let us down, right? He's for a young man,
works hard. Got a goal the other day.
Played a lot of matches for us.
A lot of this as well is just like I think even if you've played just like football at school, or it doesn't matter what standard you play, when the general feeling is good or bad, that's such a hard thing to, especially when it's bad, it's such a hard thing to overcome. Michael Carrick, perfect example, has come in there, changed it. Do I think he's a magician? No. I think he's gone in and he's put some basic strategy into the game. He's played to their strength of who they've got playing and the formation they can play. He's simplified it a bit, right? But most importantly, he's a player who was massively respected at Man U. Man U's probably where his heart is, ultimately. Got that engagement from the fans straight away. Let's not forget, under Amorim, which wasn't long ago, it was toxic over there as well.
Oh, yeah.
They want the ball out. They want the Ineos guy out. They finished, one place above us last season. They lost the Euros. It wasn't too dissimilar, guys. Not that long ago at Man United.
Yeah.
It's a completely opposite. It's a different
world. Just a question of getting the right guy in to do the right job.
I think he's played 5 matches.
He's got the same players.
And is it 4 wins and a draw, I think he's got?
Yeah, he's got the same
players.
Not
bad, is it? Put it this way, if we brought someone in and they got 4 wins and a draw, we're safe. End of story, right? So that's what we need. Someone who can really let the players enjoy playing football. They just look miserable. They look like they hate every second
when they
of it.
turn up, like they show they turn up the coach.
They look like they're going to the slaughterhouse or something.
Absolutely do. But when I very first came on today and you said, like, how you feeling? I said, I'm happy. And that's because yesterday I was sitting there thinking, wow, this is real. This is realistic now. Like we could not only be in a relegation battle, we could be relegated. It's not a far thought now, which it was maybe a month ago. And no joke, I felt physically sick. I felt physically sick because we had this chat. I've not gone through it. The closest I've gone through was 93, 94 season. One of my mates on my other groups reminded me like we needed to go away to Oldham and win, and we ended up winning 2-0. David Howes and Naeem, I think maybe something like that. But we was in bad shape then. But even then, I don't remember it being as scary as how I felt yesterday, because I thought that they were going to continue to stick with him, and I was seriously worried that he was going to take us down potentially if West Ham.
I think that there's a massive difference between relegation in '77 and relegation now, because back then money wasn't as important, I don't think, as it is now. Like going down would decimate our finances, and we'd probably have to shift lots of players on. I know we've got lots of money and blah blah blah, but actually, to the operating costs of the business for a football team, you'll probably see a drop in attendances, because there's no way they're dropping the prices of tickets, is there? You'll be paying 91 quid to go and watch us play in the Championship.
This is one of the things that doesn't make sense to me of our current situation, right? We know Tottenham is a business. We know Tottenham is viewed as a business by our owners. This is simple business metrics and trends. When a business is doing well and it's profitable, blah, 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 the valuation goes up, right? This is the asset value has been increasing for years and years and years. Probably even last season, it still went up, even though it was a terrible season.
Yeah.
There is no way our asset value is increasing now. No way, because of the threat of relegation. Because now we're going to go 2 seasons being in that lowly position, which indicates that we are now no longer a big 6 club, right? With all the brand.
It's not an aberration anymore, is it?
Exactly. And so to me, that doesn't make sense, that the owners aren't saying, what the heck, that's not acceptable. Because in any other business in the world, especially one that is publicly traded, if the share value goes down, the shareholders make a noise, you fire the leadership team. You have to make a change.
Which actually brings up a really good point, right? Is I think Thomas will take the hit for this, but I think that Vinay's judgment over this has been terrible.
Awful.
I think that he basically has let this go on way too long, and I don't think that he pulled the plug in the end. I think it was the finance people.
Graham, he was the one that came out and told us how proud he was of their process to find Frank.
Yeah.
It's something like 30 candidates, and then they used all the data points.
10 critical points that they looked at.
Yeah, and then Frank was his man. So to your point, I'm sure he doesn't, because it looks like egg on his face now, right? It's like, well,
you have to really call his judgment into question, don't you?
Yeah. I've got 5 more minutes, and I'm gonna.
Yeah, I was gonna say we could probably wrap up. It's been longer than normal, but then we've had a lot to talk about, right?
Yeah, no, I appreciate you making some time for it and giving us a chance to come on. And
no, thanks for coming on at short notice, both of you. It's been one of those days. Everyone knows where they were when they heard about it.
You'll have to have another one when we decide who the manager's going to be.
No doubt. The good thing is, right, we don't have another game for 11 days, so I know I'd say you don't want to rush a decision, but
that was the time to do it.
Yeah, because I think we should try and get someone in place before the weekend to give them a full week to work with the players. But we'll see how it goes. I read that they wanted someone in by Monday, but the good news,
Keith's available. He might turn up.
You saw that post?
The good news.
So I was at the stadium this past autumn, and I'm in the press conference room. I got a nice picture of me on the desk.
Yeah, I think I say the good thing that we're not in the FA Cup this weekend. Obviously not that good, but it at least buys us the time to hopefully bring some of the people who are a little bit injured back, to have a few more players to pick from. I don't know whether that's the case or not. There must be a few people that aren't long-term injured, you would hope. And then really to give whoever does come in, whoever it is, and I really wish them every success. I think we all do, right? We need somebody that can lift us a bit. It won't take much.
They'll get a free pass program. They'll get a free pass.
Yeah.
If we don't win against Arsenal, none of us are expecting us to even get a point. If they win,
I just want to see us turn up and give an account of ourselves, right? And if we lose, let's be honest, they are the best team in the league at the moment. So
yeah, easily.
It's no shame to lose to them. I nearly vomited when I said that.
Back to your point, But if we give it a go and we don't
Yeah.
mug ourselves off, I think that will be acceptable.
And then we've got a couple of, is it Fulham and Crystal Palace, I think, after that?
Fulham, Crystal Palace, Leeds.
Liverpool.
I can't remember. I listed all the games.
Andy Goldstein was reading off their games. He's like, Palace, they won't get a go. Fulham, they won't get a result. He's like, I can't see them getting a win until April against Wolves. I literally want to jump down the phone and throttle him. Like, really?
Well,
really?
I did. I'll be honest. I didn't think we'd get a point in February, and we've already got 1 point, so we're actually ahead of my expectations.
You thought we might get 9 points in January with that lovely run of games we had after Christmas, where we all thought, okay, we're going to get a good few points and get back up into the top 6 or 8 here. Well, how wrong were we?
Very.
Okay.
But the only good news, I think, for us is that at 90 minutes in the West Ham Man U game, we were going to be 3 points off the bottom because West Ham were winning. And then there was a Fergie time equaliser, right? In about 90. I think I posted on social earlier that Sesko should never pay for a drink in N17 again. Because it literally might be that goal that saves us this season.
Yeah. I haven't seen the results today. I don't know. Palace was tying.
I didn't look at that one, actually. But again,
Palace, Burnley was playing.
There you go. I'll give you the results right now. Okay, so it ended up Villa 1, Brighton 0, City 3, Fulham 0, Forest 0, Wolves 0. Forest only got a point. Palace lost.
That's good. That one's a good one for us, right? Because Forest are below us as well.
Yeah, and Palace lost.
Hey.
So that helps too.
It's gone our way today because I thought Forest were going to win today.
Palace are in free between us and those teams below us. It really won't.
We play several of them.
Yes, yeah. Still got Forest to play, haven't we? And
why do we do
Forest,
Leeds, why do we do this?
And Palace.
Why do we do this? It's Graham, over here in America, to them, they're like, why don't you support another team? They just don't get it. Just go and support.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is. I'm going to be miserable to the day I die supporting Spurs. I think
Tottenham till I die, or they kill me.
That's my license plate. TTID.
It's an affliction, right? It
is.
Really is.
Yeah. Well, listen, thanks for having me, Graham. Appreciate it. I'm going to jump here because I've got to actually jump on a work
Thanks,
meeting.
guys.
Appreciate it. Thanks for your time.
Bye.
Cheers. Thanks to everyone who's listened in. Please like and subscribe to the podcast. Tick all the algorithms so we can get in front of more Spurs supporters. And so, just to finish it off, I'm on you, Spurs.
Come on, Tottenham.
Let me be the one that you turn to, someone you can rely on closer each day.